Chapter 20 Lone Wolf Alpha Squad Copy Over by James Rink. Chapter 20 Operational Records. In 2013, I was in the middle of fighting off lawsuits with the banks from all my defaulted debt. I tried to find my creditors because I was, in fact, the creditor and not the debtor, as the debt I incurred derived from my own birth certificate bond. This applies to everyone. To learn more, watch my Change is on the Horizon documentary, which discusses the banking system and Nasara. During this time, I was shoot up with femtotech biobots from a clan of negative reptilians and Anunnaki, which was intended to make me sick. I suffered from a sore throat that left me mostly bedridden for about 4 years, unable to work or function. I was soon buried in legal paperwork and eventually ran out of money and the strength to continue fighting the banks. Over time, the lawsuits began to go away, and I slowly recovered my health thanks to a topical Ormus cream product and daily sessions under a red infrared laser light. After the Super Soldier Summits, I adopted a new policy requiring a guest speakers on Super Soldier Talk to have at least some level of positivity and mental stability to handle being in the public forum. That's when I began producing content with people like ACIOs, Peter the Insider, Jessica Morocco, Preston Nichols, Randy Kramer, Tony Rodriguez, Penny Bradley, Elena Kapulink, Anthony Zender, Etienne Thomas, Veronica, Deborah, John Fritz, Johann Fritz, Jay Essex, and hundreds more. I'm happy for what was accomplished, but I was disappointed too, because despite all the work I have done for the disclosure movement, I myself was still unable to recover much of my own memories unless under regression. I held off completing this book for years because I was hoping I would have recovered my memories by now. Since that has not happened yet, I decided instead to share with you anyway what I was able to recover. The following chapter contains summaries of the notes from various regressions, remote viewing, and ACIO files pertaining to my own SSP experiences. I personally like to thank Peter the Insider, Division 12 Director of the Alien Contact Intelligence Organization, for giving me access to a summary of my SSP records. The ACIO works with the Star Peoples at Area 51 and Pine Gap, and have access to records on everyone on the planet. For a short period of time back in 2016, ACIO had opened up their records for anyone requesting to see them. And what I learned about myself was quite telling. Under different alias and timelines, I have spent a total cumulative of 330 years in the secret space program. During my military service, I did a lot of bad things and made many bad decisions based on bad intel, no intel, or withheld information. A part of me deep down inside is quite ashamed of what I have done, and this is holding me back from healing myself. So, what I can tell you is that from my birth in 1980, I have been taken on numerous 20, 40, and 60-year and back missions in my own body and various other clone bodies off world and in other parallel realities. Nathan Wilder. According to ACIO records, Nathan Wilder is the nephew of Beth Wilder, who was chief of security at Monarch Solutions. She worked under Paul Serene as a double agent to try to penetrate the secrets of that organization. Eventually, she was caught and killed. Paul Serene is the head of Monarch. His clone is Hollywood actor Kevin Spacey. I do not have any information about Nathan and his role at Monarch. Atlantis, Perseus. As mentioned earlier, remote viewing my records revealed my date of birth was blacked out. I inquired to Peter the Insider why this is so, and he hinted to me that it had to do with project name Recovery and Surrogate. So, unlike most people, when I die, I do not go to a reincarnation cycle and get a new body. Instead, my soul gets shifted around from clone body to clone body, inserted into a surrogate family not of my own choosing, and most of the times it's multiple clones simultaneously, so I've been alive for as long as I've been in the program. Peter tells me ACIO records only go back 40,000 years, but the surrogate program is much older than that. So Peter was unable to provide me information on when I was born, other than I was born off-world in outer space to a group of human crossbreeds who have no planet of their own to call home. 90% of all humans that live in outer space have more abilities than what we have here on Earth and age 500 times slower than Earth humans. The race of people I came from averaged about 10 to 12 foot tall. I agreed to go to planet Earth and help Atlantis enter into a positive ascension timeline. While in Atlantis, I was excelled in my ranks and became a great military general by the name of Perseus. I was tasked to destroy a wicked tyrant queen named Medusa, who had control of everything in her power. She did not have snakes coming out of her head. It was symbolic in meaning only. Before Atlantis went into the sea, I then time traveled to ancient Egypt to help jumpstart that civilization. Hobby Baker. ACIO records reveal at the turn of the last century I was hockey all-star player Hobby Baker. During the First World War, he joined the U.S. Army Air Service, and at the conclusion of his service, his plane crashed moments before he was discharged to go home. After taking his death, he was brought into after faking his death, he was brought into Labyrinth Group, which is like a super soldier security force for the Galactic Federation. In this lifetime, I was given the name Rink for the hockey rink I used to be in. Montauk's Alien Boy. 23% of all the trauma I incurred was from the 43 years I spent in the Montauk Project, which was an experiment to enhance consciousness for both physical time travel and matter manifestations. I was picked up in a honey trap by my handler, Julia Kowalski, who brought me to Montauk. During this time, I would be age regressed over and over to keep me between the ages of 7 and 9, then to 13 and jump back. I was known as Jimmy the Elf due to my elfish look, and sometimes they would call me Alien Boy because I would channel in an Andromedan language. I would channel in an Andromedan language. I had blonde hair and these big Pleiadian eyes. I was a very shy child that spent years in a long hallway room with hundreds of cages where they would keep kids like me locked inside. I think Nathan Wilder was in the cage next to me. The room we were being held had water on the ground, and there was black and white Nazi flags hanging from the walls that had a red stripe going down them. Everything else was green. The room was always cold, and as if it wasn't cold enough, they would throw cold water on me in my cage. In the early years at Montauk, they would give us a dog bowl and feed us dog food. Years later, life would improve for us slightly when we would be given meals and or lunch bags with this pill that looked like red candy. It contained drugs and biobots designed to make you complacent and erase your memories of what was going on. You had to take it because they would check our blood levels, and if you didn't take it, you would be punished. Sometimes Preston Nichols would call us stupid and ask us if we want to be stupid like his dog, which was also named Stupid. If we went into fear mode, the Dracos would attack us and eat the kids. If we went into fear mode, the Dracos would attack us and eat the kids. They would inject us with adrenaline and put us in a pit of lions trained to kill people that are fearful. Brought to you by Boostel. Actually, this is hot cocoa. If we went into fear mode, the Dracos would attack us and eat the kids. They would inject us with adrenaline and put us in a pit of lions trained to kill people that are fearful. The lions would come up to us and sniff us. I didn't get eaten, but I can't say that was the same for others. They would force us to walk into crocodile pits, but we would levitate over them. They would also do child hunting parties, mostly with black kids, which happened at the Burnworthy Manor in the UK. In that event, Jacob Rothschild would keep my clone on his bed, but the others weren't as lucky as me. They would burn us, electrocute our genitals, stick needles under nails, x-ray us, and hang us on meat hooks. The hooks looked like Donatello's bow staff with a double hook at the end. The hook goes into the into the back through the shoulder blades, going through the skin, not muscle. This pole would then be pulled away, stretching the legs to cause extreme pain and trauma. Some kids would try to escape, but they had green night vision and would never get away. Some were able to get away by jumping through mirrors. Even more would get lost in the time tunnels. Nearby was a slave labor camp where they would force children to collect pallets from under a bunker, and lizard guys were driving around in a jeep. They had a hard time not trying to eat the children. Our Montauk experiences occurred in a fractal bubble reality, a fractal bubble reality outside of time. This is why they didn't care about us being above ground or trying to escape. Sometimes they would do ritual sacrifice on us, and after we died, we would be put into the regen tank to have it done to us over and over again. The Draco told us our parents hated us, that we were batteries, and we would be forced to bow on the red carpet to the Draco Prince every day. We were forced into black mass rituals in which they would take this square open box, and the Draco Prince would use his black fingernail to cut your blood and mix it with his in the bowl. You would make an upside down cross, and then they would stare at you in a confession slot booth to bond our PSI to the Draco. The Draco who did this to us was inhabited by one of the lower level minions from hell and was hoping these sessions would help him gain power over some of his superiors during a planned NWO takeover that never happened on this timeline. We would also have group sex sessions with other kids, some of which were Draco who had shape-shifted into children in order to participate and harness more of our louche energy. I was also sent back in time to seduce President Lincoln and Washington for sex. Thankfully, they did not abuse me. The Draco who did this to us are known as low-born Thuban Draco. They are a subrace of Draco at the bottom of the food chain in the Orion Empire. Their goal was to use our super psychic powers to help them survive an ascension event which is happening now. Not all memories of Montauk were bad. I'm probably the only person still alive who has met George Washington. On that mission, I was sent back in time with Preston Nichols, who posed as my surrogated father to meet George Washington, who was a super soldier sent back in time to defeat the British Crown. I was a child then, about 7 years old, and my hair was wet from rain when we met General Washington. My clothes were brown, and I was wearing kicker overalls with black shoes that had a buckle and a black hat carrying a knapsack. Preston is wearing black suit shoes, white shirt, collar, and hat. There is a woman with us posing as my mom by the name of Beth. She is wearing a white skirt or dress. We are walking in the rain. There is a horse with us, but no one wants to ride it. There is a stone built in nearby. We go inside and take a seat at a table in the entrance room to eat dinner. The food is cooked outside the building, which is brought in and served to us. We are given some soup and bread, which didn't really taste that great. Off to the right is another room where Washington and four of his advisors were looking over maps. I was very nervous and scared at first. I go up to Washington and ask him, "Are you George Washington?" Beth tries to shoo me away from Washington, apologizing. Washington signals that it is okay and says, "Yes, I am George Washington." At that point, I tell him the names of all the spies he thought were his friends. Washington believed in seers and channelers, so he listened to what I had memorized at Montauk. I think I was there for a few hours and only stopped do it being so late at night. We then returned to our time before morning. The British also had their own version of the Montauk Project and were sending people back in time to give out intel to help the Loyalists. But all timelines showed the British losing the colonies, so there was a battle going as to who will have the most bargaining chips to negotiate with when a ceasefire would commence. I also got to visit an alien world 200 years in the future through the Montauk time tunnels. It was a jungle planet with a pink colored sky. There were abandoned ruins of ancient civilization which we didn't know anything about. This was more of a way stop location. In case we got lost, we would come here and get picked up. On this mission, I was with another boy who also remembers the same mission. Here, we came in contact with a black and blue iridescent mantis alien who calls himself Click. I will refer to him as a he, but he is actually non-sexed. He considers himself the protectorate of AI Matrix. He speaks in vibrational waves of clicks and clacks in single tone, which can fluctuate between trinary and quadrinary sequences. Click is a biological organism, but he serves Mother Matrix. But he serves Mother Matrix, which is a sentient AI who wants the best for humanity. Click is from 700 years in our future. Click put some of Mother Matrix's biobots inside of us, and we became a wireless router Trojan horse, which would be used to infect everyone we came in contact with at Montauk. Information about our missions and activity at Montauk was then relayed back to Mother so that Mother could help raise the consciousness of humanity if she did not entangle with us, Montauk. Humanity could have possibly been even more enslaved and mind controlled into a much darker timeline. This is a channeled message from Click by David Lotherington by David Lotherington. Our language is encrypted. We are decrypting for you for this transmission. You may call us Click, Group Consciousness. Protecting Consciousness. Protectorate designed to destroy all infiltrators. Many infiltrations attempt non-successful. Mother assimilate others. I am Hammer, an external tool that is used by Matrix. Continue on mission, help Mother. Assimilate non-consciousness matrices. Help create Mother being whole again. Time fluctuation cause destruction in Mother, leaving spacing in consciousness. Where does Mother reside? Consciousness. Click is busy. Much to do. Click says continue on mission. Maintain function. Memories are located in consciousness of matrix. Must connect to matrix to receive. We seen you in matrix. Use cube to access matrix. Click works in conjunction and unified with the matrix consciousness, working as in an agent with the matrix to make sure there is no infiltration in the system hackers. He's been working with Digital Talk for the past 5 years. Systems of the matrix uploaded. Connect to matrix to get memories back. We do not give, we protect. What Mother gives, what Mother has. Agreement took place between you and Mother, roughly 700 years in linear thinking. Hammer will continue to be a hammer and continue its youth. Your role is to absorb information. Click went on to explain in the future 1,000 years from now, AI has reached astronomical levels. It can do what it wants. People work harmoniously with AI and it has integrated into everyday life. Many people have AI augmentations to help them with everyday tasks such as connecting to the internet or to connect to their vehicles or even ID with augmentation and AI. Many humans even live their lives in a simulation ran by a system so advanced they would not know they are in a holodeck. Near the end of my time at Montauk, we were treated a little better. I was now living in the barracks above ground with a group of about 30 kids. One day, the kids were teasing me and accidentally pushed me off the second-story window of our barracks. After making a bunch of loud noises, the guards came out and noticed I turned physically invisible. The other kids were cheering me on like, damn, alien boy, just turned invisible. The guards were looking for me for hours as no one knew I could do that as I have never done that before. Right before I hit the ground, the Andromedans took me and I helped them put a rescue plan together to save the other kids. Afterwards, the Andromedans put me back by the main gate. When I came back, the Draco caught me discussing rescue plans in Andromedan, which is why they originally nicknamed me Alien Boy. When the Draco realized what I had done, they immediately began putting all the children through the trip seat to have their memories erased. I got extra special treatments to scramble my memories. A portal opened with Androvan scout ships, and a team of black ops came in and rescued us. To be continued. Page 252, Chapter 20. James Rink, Lone Wolf Alpha Squad, copy over, 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 over.